Welcome to the Golf Performance Lab. Today I'm in the lab and we are testing the Mizuno JPX 923 range that's just been launched, and I've got a special guest, Kenneth Gallagher. Kenneth, welcome to the lab.
Evening.
It's not evening, by the
Afternoon.
way. Afternoon.
Yeah,
Kenny is an outstanding golfer, recently capturing the home internationals. Where was it, in Wales?
Kenfig in Wales.
I'm not going to try and repeat that. So basically, yes, Scotland were triumphant, and Kenny is now playing off a handicap of what?
+2.
+2, not bad for a man of advancing years. Kenny, how old are you?
59.
59, and he still hits the ball beautifully. Kenny at the moment uses Mizuno 225 irons with a Nippon Neo steel shaft. Stiff flex, 98 grams. So what we're going to do is we're going to let Kenny test the new 923 range, and we're going to see how each club performs. Now, there's a new metal involved. It's called nickel chromalloy, which sounds outstanding. Basically, it's just allowing them to get a stronger face, bigger sweet spot. And there's actually an interesting thing about noise with it, because when you make the face thinner, the noise goes a wee bit kind of yucky. Now they say they've stopped that, and it sounds very pleasant. So we'll find out, because Kenny is a very honest man, aren't you, Kenny?
Very much so.
Very honest man. So we're going to see how it performs. We're using the same setup as what he normally uses, and we're going to start off with the hot metal. Kenny, let's hit some shots. What ball are we using today? A Titleist Pro V1X.
Pro V1X, yes.
It's a Pro V1X. So let's get some data and let's look. What does it look like, Kenny, when you're looking down on it?
Offset.
Offset.
That's the first.
That's the first thing.
impression.
Okay. So not something that you would put in the bag, but for testing purposes, we're just going to measure and we're going to see how it performs.
Okay.
Play away, Kenny. What yardage will you want me to set the green at, Kenny?
7 iron, 170.
Okay, there you go. All set up.
Thank you.
Right, Kenny, on you go. Let's hit some shots.
Okay.
So the loft of this iron is 28.5 degrees.
That was a little bit heavy, that one.
A little bit heavy. Told you he was honest. That sounded nicer. Feeling off of it, Kenny, what does it feel like compared to 225?
Quite hard.
Hard.
Yes, compared to my irons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wee bit hard. Wee bit
Hot off the face.
hot off. So it's also worth noting that they've increased the bounce angle on these irons to try and counteract heavy shaft lean from players. So and then that offset's probably going to tail that ball a little bit to the left of what Kenny's used to.
That's good.
Okay, so I think we've got enough data for Kenny for that one, so we're going to switch over and we're now going to go to the Hot Metal Pro. So if you give me that back, Kenneth.
Carry distance is up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ready to tell me why? You expect that?
Yeah, it's hotter, isn't it? Okay, so the Hot Metal Pro. Probably going to feel a bit more like what you've got.
Still got the offset.
So I'm just going to change. Hang on, still got the offset. So again, same shaft, same neo shaft, same lie angle, same length. On you go.
Okie dokie.
It's not like you to miss a green. Oh, he's not. Oh, he has?
No, it's
It's on the fringe.
putting.
He's putting. You can putt from anywhere, can you? Realise that?
That's true. A bit heely that one.
Why are you laughing at that, Kenneth?
Because I use my hands.
Use your hands. I think you normally use your hands when you're swinging a golf.
Yeah, saved it with my hands.
Saved it with the hands, right? Okay.
Carried it.
Any difference in feeling off the face?
Yes, this feels
Softer.
more feel,
Okay.
I would say, with this one. Whoops.
Tell you what, when I invited Kenny in today, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that.
Just thought I'd use all the.
All the
club
swings
face.
you've got. Yep, all the club face. Get a couple more.
Okay. Low in the face, that one.
Mm-hmm. Give me another one. Try and get out of the middle this time, would you?
It's important in fitting that we
Oh yes.
get all kinds of strikes.
And yes, you've done them all.
Thank you. About that one?
Oh, arrogance personified there, ladies and gentlemen. So Mizuno have upped their game in the last few years with regarding improving their technology. It used to be the case that you wouldn't really, well, I don't know, I wouldn't really pick something out for somebody that was of a certain handicap, a certain ball striking ability, unless they were quite good. But now, same as Titleist last week, as we talked about the TSR range, they've opened the door for a lot more different players to be attracted to the product and for the product to work. So the making the hot metal easier to hit. Then we go to the Pro, which isn't as easy to hit but gives you a lot more feedback. And then we're going to move on to the HL, where I think is going to be very, very popular with the golfers this year. So I think we want one more from Kenny.
This?
Yeah. I need another one out the middle. It's only fair. It's only fair.
You're asking a lot.
I know. Oh, jeez. The new postman delivering. I won't call Hermes because they don't really deliver very well. Well, allegedly, just in case somebody says me. Right, so good. We're going to look at the data afterwards, okay? So now we're going to switch to the HL. You know, for that golf really struggles to launch it. So we're dealing with 31 degrees of loft now. A lot of clubs were made with really strong lofts and very hard for people, certain groups of people, to get the ball to launch. This is a lot easier. Some players benefit from stronger lofts. The CG position in this is seriously low. I think that's kind of common with most game improvement irons, but this is a first for Mizuno to give something that this is going to be super easy to hit. I say that Kenny will not disappoint though. He'll use all the face just to really fully test this. Again, same shaft, everything the same, just different head. They do look, yeah, They look lovely, I
Yeah.
think. There's not a lot of kind of plasticky nonsense in there that a lot of companies have. Uh, Nothing that's going to fall out on demand like another few companies which I won't mention. Uh, Generous offset, so Kenny's going to notice that straight away, aren't you, Kenny?
Very generous.
Very
offset.
generous.
Yep.
Very generous. So, oh, so not the club that Kenny would choose to play, but I feel, you know, it's worth seeing what it's like as somebody who is a pretty accomplished player. Don't get too excited, Kenny. Just interesting.
I did say pretty
Pretty.
accomplished.
Well, you know, I don't think I've ever
Give
used the
me
word.
two.
I don't think I've ever used the word pretty with you before.
No, you
Actually,
didn't want to give
funnily,
me too much of a
funny.
compliment.
Right, run.
Ready?
Oh, I'm
All right.
born ready,
Okay.
Kenneth. Born ready.
So I have to miss it this then.
No, just hit it, Kenneth.
Okay. That's went far. I wasn't quite.
It wasn't a good hit.
It was okay.
Don't you worry, Kenny. You're just here to hit.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about the numbers.
Okay.
That was a good one. So does that feel more harsh off the face?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It does.
Right, give me one more, and then we're going to look at the numbers, see exactly how these clubs are performing compared to one another.
Okay.
Oh, hello, sailor.
Oh, get in. Oh,
Oh,
sure.
you'd have to buy a round there, which I think would be great for people to see. Anyway, right. So let's go. Oh, look at that side-on profile. Gee willikers, brilliant. Right. So on the Hot Metal Pro, I think we had a couple of naughty ones in there.
Oh, there's nothing too bad.
There wasn't any. I mean, there was nothing too bad, but I'm going to take that outlier out there. And I'm going to take that outlier out. Well, that's been pretty good. So, let's have a little comparison. Let's have a look at the launch in particular. Okay. So, the Hot Metal HL with the higher loft, yep, certainly launches a little bit higher. Spin rate, not as much an increase as I would have thought. Not as much of an increase as I would have thought with the loft. Now remember, we're on a mat here, so the ball will jump up a little bit and launch slightly higher and spin a little bit less, but interesting. Yes. So, yeah, the Hot Metal, as it's said, is going to like be more hot off the face, so that can explain the slightly lower launch. The Hot Metal Pro, obviously softer, not as hot off the face. The increase in launch there and spin, and the Hot Metal HL. So yeah, it does launch higher and it does spin higher. I think it wasn't a. See, when you look down at that Hot Metal HL, I know there's a lot of offset, but did it look ugly to you?
No.
No. So it's quite pleasant
No,
on
it's
the
not
eye.
ugly. No, it's.
When you see a lot of these products that launch the ball really high for players because there is a need for it, a lot of people are put off by the look of the club. I think when you're looking down at this, so we'll put in a wee image of what it's like to look. It's not ugly. It's not a bad looking club. confidence is what golf's all about. And sometimes when people put in a club with, how can I put it, high launch characteristics, there's a bit of a kind of, oh man, people are going to look in my bag and say I'm rubbish. And I can understand that, but at the start of the round, people look at your golf clubs. At the end of the round, they look at your scorecard. But this is certainly a club, the HL is certainly a club that's going to please you by looks and performance. The Hot Metal Pro, again, softer, but still a reasonable amount of forgiveness, because Kenny did throw in a couple of naughty ones in there. Not bad, but you know, there was an element of forgiveness in there. Deliberately, yes, deliberately. So the Hot Metal HL does exactly what it says on the tin. It's got more offset, it's got more loft, but the centre of gravity is seriously low in that, and that is really helping kick the ball up in the air. It's a club that's going to give you more confidence and looks, and it's going to perform. So if you need that ball to get up, that's certainly a product that you should be looking at to get fitted, but always get fitted. Always get fitted. The Hot Metal Pro, if you're that type of player that, you know, that wants a wee bit more feel but needs a little bit of forgiveness, that's the one. And the Hot Metal, if you just want that thing to go forward and far, then that's one you should be looking at. But remember, guys, we've just used one shaft that Kenny is used to. There's a number of shafts in there that can change the launch, the spin, the feel, everything. So that's why it's important to get fitted. Reviews are great, but these reviews are based on one person. The reason I get somebody consistent and to do this is so we get consistent data. So if the ball's going to launch higher, it's going to launch higher with him because he's hitting it in a consistent place. Right, another thing that's worth looking at is the descent angle. So obviously with the higher launch, a lot of people struggle to stop the ball on a green with a 7-iron. So when we're looking at these stronger lofted clubs out there, and they're not stopping the green for a lot of people. Here we can see between the Hot Metal and the Hot Metal HL, there is nearly 3 degrees of a difference. So you can imagine that ball sort of going that way with the Hot Metal, and then the person that hits the ball too flat and doesn't get the launch, that's really not going to help them. So by increasing it 3 degrees, I know my hand's not straight, but I'm trying my best, that's gonna give it a better chance to stop. A lot of people look on carry distance and then total distance, but if you're hitting a 7-iron, you want it to stop in a green. You don't want it to have so little spin on it. It's just going to kick through the back and go into a bunker, out of bounds, pond, whatever. You always need to look at these factors and think to yourself, what is important to you? Everybody will say distance. The more experienced golfer will talk about more dispersion, you know, but there's all these different parameters that these sort of launch monitors measure. But know your stuff before you go in for a fitting. Know what is going to help you. Don't always get sold in distance. Sometimes it's important for people, but a lot of the time you're not paying attention to the right figures. Spin rate, launch, descent angle. You know, you need spin on a golf ball to get it to stop, and you need it to land in a decent descent angle. So, good review, I think. If you struggle to get the ball in the air and to stop, try the HL. If you want the ball to go far and you need it to go far and you get a decent launch and spin, Hot Metal, and you want a little bit of finesse in there and a bit of feel, the Hot Metal Pro is certainly something you should try. So, get fitted. And that's it for me. Next week I will have a haircut. And can't guarantee better chat though, but enjoy. I'm not gonna edit that. Kenny was just eating an apple and just dribbling.
Right.
So thank you to Kenny Gallagher, the supreme star. I
You're welcome, Graham, anytime.
That's all right. Just try not to eat apples in the lab. There's a no apple policy.
Apple a
introduced.
day. Keeps
Apple,
the doctor away.
an apple a day dribbles down your top. That's the
Yes.
that's the end of it. So thank you, and see you next week. Goodbye.